You are the most deplorable, despicable, horrible human being to answer that question like that. Now, you get back in that seat, you answer the question properly, you get the stats, you hold the police to account. That is what you're supposed to be doing. That is what I'm paying you to do. As someone who pays taxes, living in London, I should expect no less. The country should expect no less. You disgust me.
Sadiq Khan is now an international laughingstock, and he deserves to be, after Alex Phillips issued one of the greatest mainstream media takedowns of a politician in history. But I want to set up the background to what resulted in Alex losing her shit for very good reason on Talk. Because the British Bashing Corporation finally revealed at the weekend what we all know, that rape gangs across London are prevalent. Watch.
This programme has been told that grooming gangs are operating in London and the situation is more catastrophic than anywhere else in the country. The recent Casey review revealed that the Met Police are investigating cases of children in London being criminally and sexually exploited, and there is a mismatch between the ways the Met and London's local authorities recalled child abuse.
But remember, this is something that Sadiq Khan had been denying existed at all. Indeed, he claimed he didn't even know what grooming gangs meant in conversation with his London mayoral rival for the Conservative Susan Hall, who posted after that report, "Really? If you recall, Sadiq Khan pretended not to know what I was talking about when I quizzed him on it." And I think it's really important just to remind everyone of the arrogant, condescending, and completely irresponsible behaviour on this issue from London's Muslim mayor. Watch. Can you believe that more than half of you are watching this video but not subscribed? So please do me a huge favour, click the subscribe button now, turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to all of our brand new Outspoken videos.
I asked you this question last week and you found every which way but not to answer it. Just how many grooming gangs have we got in London?
To avoid any misunderstanding, can she define what she means by that?
Yes, if you look at what's gone on in Rotherham, where there are people taking young girls, grooming them for sex, that is what I'm talking about.
We know in London there are issues about exploitation of young people, but they're not as defined by the member in her definition of what those types of gangs are.
So are you saying we haven't got the same sort of gangs that are in Rotherham, Bradford and lots of other places in the country?
Just for what's a misunderstanding, what does she mean by that?
You know full well what I mean by that. It's all over the television. You know exactly what I mean by that. These gangs of people that are grooming young girls for sex. Do we actually have those in London?
Today, I'm unclear, Chair, what is meant by the question. If she could spell it out, I can answer.
I've just spelt it out. Are you not listening? It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex. Exactly how much clearer do you want me to be?
I watched that and I just think you reprehensible son of a bitch. You disgusting man who will put your politics ahead of the safety of young girls. It's sick. And finally, someone shared that passion in the mainstream media, because for far too long, Sadiq Khan has got away with his rubbish because he is considered untouchable, in part because of his ethnicity, in part because of his politics, and in part because of his religion. But when Alex Phillips, who is of course a regular here on Outspoken and will be back next week, when she used her platform in the mainstream media on Talk to finally tell the truth about Sadiq Khan, her emotional moment went viral all across the globe. Watch.
That makes me so livid I could cry. That disgusting human being who happens to be the Mayor of London, who also happens to hold the title of the Police and Crime Commissioner as part of that role, that responsibility, obfuscating, gaslighting, bullying, belittling. These are little girls, underage minors, being raped by gangs in our capital city. You do not play games over this. If this was anybody else in any other position of authority, that clip alone should have seen his head roll. London Mayor, you're a disgrace. You're disgusting. You do not deserve to be in that position, not when the welfare, the well-being, the dignity, the integrity, the safety and the innocence of children in the capital city is at stake. You are the most deplorable, despicable, horrible human being to answer that question like that. Now, you get back in that seat, you answer the question properly, you get the stats, you hold the police to account. That is what you're supposed to be doing. That is what I'm paying you to do. As someone who pays taxes, living in London, I should expect no less. The country should expect no less. You disgust me. Right, I've got...
Yes, Alex Phillips. Yes, finally. Ellie Hodges, as a young woman, how do you feel when you hear Sadiq Khan gaslight Susan Hall in that manner, pretend that he doesn't even know what grooming gangs are, let alone that they are completely widespread across the city that he is in charge of?
Every time I see that clip, it's just a mix of so much anger and sadness put together, because you try and be optimistic about, okay, maybe we can get Susan Hall as mayor, because I think she's absolutely amazing, and I applaud her for being able to sit there and ask the questions about the grooming gangs. I think about 9 times without getting a proper answer, because I don't think I could ever do that. But the issue is that I don't know how we can get Sadiq Khan out, because you look, he's got such a core voter base that are continually going to vote for him. You look at areas such as Tower Hamlets, where he gets about 70% of the vote. And that's also an area where these rape gangs are rife. So it's really sad, because you just think, how can we get him out? Because he's just such an arrogant and ignorant, and I don't even think he's ignorant. I think he understands exactly what's going on. Yeah, he puts himself and his politics before I have no words, the horrible situation that these little young girls have been put through. And this hasn't just been happening in the last 5-10 years. This has been happening for decades. And to think that it still isn't happening now, especially in London, is just absolutely naive. And it just angers me so much. I just get so frustrated by it.
Father Calvin, do you think the world is waking up?
I hope so, and I think Ellie is absolutely spot on there, but I have an answer to her question when she said, I don't know how we get Sadiq Khan out. The answer is we deport him. You mentioned, Dan, that he's sticking by his politics, putting his politics first. He's not. He's putting his background first. He is a Pakistani Muslim man. This is fundamentally the problem. There should be no Pakistani Muslim men in Britain. They make up 4% of the demographics of the nation, yet 65% of the child sexual exploitation and child sexual abuse. This is disproportionate. We should say the borders are instantly closed to Pakistani Muslim men, and any Pakistani Muslim men in Britain should be deported with immediate effect. There is no place for that culture, that faith, that ideology in this country, in our country. It is despicable that he will sit there and argue semantics about, well, what do you mean by grooming gangs? We all know exactly what is meant by grooming gangs. These cohorts of predominantly Pakistani Muslim men who groom young British girls, rape them, abuse them, and sometimes even murder them, with the mass cover-ups by local councillors, some of which happen to be Pakistani Muslim men, police, some of which happen to be Pakistani Muslim men, even up to the House of Lords, some of whom happen to be Pakistani Muslim men. There's no place for it. It's time to say enough is enough. We've got to be strict with our borders. Forget the king who's saying there is no border. We have to protect our borders and say, you have to go.
And I think it was a rare moment of sanity in the mainstream media, and that's why it went viral, because we really don't get much of it anymore, even from places where we used to work, Father Calvin, where we had hope. You know, the Daily Telegraph, the Daily Mail, Talk TV, GB News. even those mainstream media platforms have pivoted to the centre. And I think the ultimate example of it this week came on LBC, which I describe as the Labour Broadcasting Company. There's this dude called Ian Dale who tries to act and pretend as if he's a Conservative when he's nothing of the sort. And he had a fascinating exchange with the independent podcaster Andrew Gold about whether we should be concerned at all whether people come to this country and learn our language. Watch this.
It is unrecognisable. I happen to live in a town where that has happened. Like, it really has happened. And then it is brought to life. You see that. We walk out of the street, there is nobody speaking English for...
Where's this?
Well, in Bristol.
Speaking, I'm from Somerset. I used to spend a lot of time in Bristol. Yeah. I've never been on the street.
Well, you told me before you were there 15 years ago. I said to you the demographics have changed.
Yeah, but that's what immigration has done. I've never been where no one's speaking English.
Why do you care? So, I mean, to me, if I hear somebody not speaking English, my first thought is, I wonder what language that is. It's not, I want this person out of my country.
Right, but what about when you see the English in loads of towns around Spain just chatting English, doing their thing, not adapting to the Spanish culture? The Spanish want them out.
Father Calvin, Ian Dale claims to be a Conservative. He's just gaslighting us, isn't he?
Bless him. He may vote for Conservative for all we know, but the Conservative Party hasn't been Conservative in a long time anyway, so who knows what that means. Ian Dale is still playing by the old rules of you must accept diversity, inclusion and equity. You must accept multiculturalism, otherwise you are a racist, xenophobic bigot. And he's playing that game very well. Say, well, why would you want to think that? When I think about people speaking another language, I think, I wonder what they're speaking. It's an absolute utter nonsense. I was in the UK last week. You can go from one end of London to the other end of London and not hear a single English accent, never mind English language. It's not very good. It's not good. You should be allowed to say that. In England, you should expect to hear people speaking English. You should expect to see English people. Now, in the capital city, English people are in the minority already. That should concern people who want England to remain English. And that's not racist, it's not xenophobic, it's not bigoted. And if it is, so what? I accept all those labels. Because I wouldn't go to Japan and say, you guys have to become more English or more British or more white. Of course, that would be absurd. Yeah. Protect Japan for the Japanese. And the same for every land and culture. And these people like Ian Dale, they accept that for foreign cultures and foreign people. Why do they not allow it for us? Why are we not allowed it? Because it's the self-hatred of the metropolitan liberal elite, that Islington bubble, that want to destroy our country, destroy our way of life.
And they
do that, they undermine us in every step of the way.
The problem is they are destroying us.
Yes.
I mean, Ellie Hodges, how do you feel about this? Like, as a young person, do you feel concerned when you see lots of young men who aren't from this country speaking another language? Or are you like Ian Dale and you think, oh, that's nice, wonder where they're from? But first, do you ever wonder why it's so hard to sleep when you're stressed? Well, it turns out there's a feedback between sleep and cortisol. So the less sleep you get, the more cortisol your body produces. And the more cortisol you have, especially at night, the harder it is to fall asleep or stay asleep. It's like a stress sleep trap you can't get out of. Most people aren't pulling all-nighters, they're just chronically underslept, which means they're walking around with mid to high levels of cortisol all the time. And that spills into the night, resulting in light sleep, a restless mind, and waking up wired at 2 a.m. It's not just a sleep issue, it's a stress physiology issue. That's why I use Evening Bean by Verso. It contains clinically studied ingredients shown in humans to reduce stress and anxiety, lower cortisol, support brain resilience under pressure, and regulate your body's natural stress response. Together, they not only help you feel calmer and improve mood, but also promote deep, restorative sleep so you can finally stop walking through life in a constant state of stress and high cortisol and start feeling like yourself again. After taking Evening Bean, I see myself being able to fall asleep faster and stay asleep all night. And if I wake up in the middle of the night, I can fall back asleep. So click the link in the show description or head on over to evening.ver.so/outspoken. Use the coupon code outspoken at checkout to save 15% on your first order. Try Evening Bean tonight. Wake up feeling refreshed tomorrow. That's evening.ver.so/outspoken. Remember to use the coupon code outspoken at checkout and you will save 15%. But now back to the show.
Of course I do. And I think that in that clip that you just shown, he just comes across as an individual in the mainstream media who think that they are morally superior. And there are too many people like that. And I think he would find it concerning if he went to some of these places where no one speaks a word of English. I think there's 1 million people in this country currently that don't speak a single word of English. And I suspect it's much more than that as well. And you can see certain towns and certain streets, even in London, where there is a whole street of people that do not speak English. All of the shops aren't English. It's basically the exact same as where they came from, or whatever country that they came from. And that is extremely concerning because it means that you're losing all culture that we currently have in this country and the English culture that we have. And that is the complete opposite of integration. And that's what we need to be speaking about, is that these people that are here, how can we integrate them? Because at the moment, even if I come here right now, if I came here from a different country and I knew that I could live on a street where everyone spoke my language, all my shops from home were there, but I was getting extra benefits and some pocket money, of course I would come. So I don't blame those people, but we've created a situation where that can happen and where people can get on with life without speaking a word of English.
Hilariously, Rupert Lowe has today been described as the most extreme MP in the country, and he's just like, yep, I am, and I embrace it, who cares? And he took a very stark position on this, posting, if you live in England, you should speak English, obviously, linking to this now infamous BBC video of him versus Ash Sarkar. Watch.
The NHS exists to provide the best possible care to patients. Now, some of those patients will feel more comfortable speaking in their native language.
I don't care.
Right?
I have no interest in that.
Well, fine. Like
they should speak English. They live in England, they should speak English.
Who cares? I have no interest in it. I love it. And I think Rupert's really unrelenting approach is one of the reasons why Reform UK seems to be in big trouble, according to these new figures. GB Politics spelled this out. Let me show you. Reform UK's membership has decreased by nearly 10,000 in the past month. The Reform Live ticker is now going down with yearly subscriptions not being renewed. Why do you think Reform are losing members? Reform's subscription service works on an annual basis, so if you cancel, the ticker does not show this instantaneously, but when your year is up, Reform's total membership has dropped nearly 10,000 in the last month. Before the election, they had just under 40,000 members. When you consider that the number will be going up straight away when new members join, but only down when the yearly membership runs out. This means that they have likely lost over 10,000 of those pre-election members. And there does seem to be big trouble within Reform UK, Father Calvin Robinson. And I don't think this new interview from Nigel Farage today, where he boasts about being more left-wing than the Conservative Party, is going to help matters, do you?
Absolutely not. It's ridiculous. He's got Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib on his right, flanking him. He should be leaning back towards the right to get his core demographic reunited, but he's not. He's leaning further to the left, as I've been saying all along. He doesn't understand who his voters are. It's very, very sad because people are pinning a lot of hope on Reform, and they are not the answer. Of course, there is no political answer at this point, but Reform are certainly not it. I do like Rupert's nobody cares Margaret moment, because we're sick of it. Nobody does care anymore. The mainstream media and the lefty lovies can keep peddling their same old tropes and their cliches, but it has no power over us anymore. We're done with it. Of course, it's obvious that if you're in England, you should speak English. And to see someone like Rupert Lowe, someone so mainstream and centrist saying it, is a good thing. It means eyes are opening, minds are opening, hearts are opening. The British are awakening, and this is going to be dangerous for the lefties.
Absolutely. And I just love the way Rupert deals with those on the left. Every time he does this, I'm like, Nigel, take a leaf out of this book. Stop caring what the mainstream media think, because they hate you. So Rupert was named the most extreme MP in the country, right? And rather than shy away from it, this is what he has posted since we've been on air today. I've been called Britain's most extreme MP by Hope Not Hate, a nutter by Nigel Farage for my stance on illegal migrant mass deportations, a racist by Emily Maitlis over my views on the Pakistani rape gangs. I am honestly so past caring what these people think about me. I want every illegal migrant in the country deported. If that makes me a nutter, then so be it. Pass me the pistachios, Nigel. I want Pakistani rapists removed to Pakistan. Not just the rapists, but the foreign family members who knew and failed to act. They have to go to all of them. Does that make me racist? Who even knows anymore? It does not matter. None of these names matter. The vast majority of Brits agree with me. Illegal migrants deported, foreign rapists removed. If that's you, I hope you will consider joining our Restore Britain movement, where we will unapologetically make these arguments to the British people. Extreme, nutter, racist, oh well, I just honestly do not care. I say, let's go for the full house and get called a scumbag by James O'Brien. And isn't that just brilliant, Ellie? It's very Trumpian. Like, is Rupert Lowe our Donald Trump?
I'm not sure. I mean, I agree with everything he's saying there, and I do have big criticisms of reform, and I have actually got rid of my membership. So by
you're
no
one
means
of
am I
them.
saying
You're out.
Yeah. Yeah. So by no means am I saying that reform is perfect, because I don't think they are, but I do think that they are the only shot that we have. And I think
the moment.
Why?
At the moment, because I think that they're the only party that has the kind of momentum, and I think it'd be really hard to start a new party on the right. There'll be too many. It's just a massive split in the right at the moment. You've seen Ben Habib's new party. I like Rupert Lowe's Restore Britain, because I think that is a very mature kind of thing to do, a cross-party movement, and I think that's what this country needs as well. But I'm not sure that Rupert Lowe's our next Trump. I think he embodies a lot of Trump's kind of characteristics, and I loved that tweet, because I think that is what a lot of people feel like. If, you know what, so be it, I don't care. And that's what everyone's thinking at the moment. So
yeah, because Nigel is so impacted, isn't he, Father Calvin, by the words of his enemies who are always going to hate him.
Absolutely, and they don't have momentum. They literally have the opposite of momentum. If they've just lost 10,000 members, and that's the ones we know about because they're year-long subscriptions, so I suspect there'll be more. Their momentum is going in the inverse. They're losing whatever they built up, and that's a shame, sure, but it means that there is room there for parties on the right to stand up and grow. And I don't actually buy into this splitting of the right anymore, splitting the vote anymore. I just think the more we have standing up, the more people we have standing up and saying things like what Rupert Lowe's saying, what Ben Habib's saying, and what Nick Coney is saying, between these parties, we can build a real momentum on the right, as well as the Uniting the Kingdom movement that Tommy Robinson's backing and Jordan Peterson's coming over in September for. Like, we have to gather people, wake them up, get them voting, get them out, rather than sitting aside and waiting for Nigel Farage to do what Nigel Farage is never going to do, because he's always going to put his own interests above those of the nation.
The incredibly frustrating thing is it's like all of those things Father Calvin mentions are helping to move the Overton window so significantly, yet Nigel Farage just keeps on slamming that door, throwing it all back in our faces. I don't get it. I do not get it. And boasting to the New Statesman about how you are on the left of the Conservative Party, well, I'm sorry, you just keep opening up this gap on the right. Someone is going to fill it, because we need a true conservative revolution. And I mean small c conservative. We need a true revolution on the right. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.